everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Kat, and before we even get started, Happy New Year to all of you guys. I can't believe we made it to 2023, and last year seems like it just flew by, I mean, in an instant. So I'm super excited about this year. I hope you guys have an absolutely awesome year. I know I have a bunch of really exciting things coming up, and I can't wait to share some of them with you guys. But for today, let's go ahead and jump right in. We are going to close out the year with a ranking of my top 10 eyeshadow palettes that I tried in this past year. So I am very excited to show you guys my absolute favorites. And so yeah, let's just immediately jump right in. My sleeves are rolled up so that way we can do some swatching of everything. So let's just jump right in. All right, so starting off with number 10, we have from Moxie Cosmetics. This is the Boundless Bloom palette. I had reviewed this like, I want to say it was like early springtime, and this is the color story. It is so pretty. Definitely more on the grungy side for the matte shades, and the shimmers were absolutely gorgeous. There were a few multi-chromes in here that were definitely very beautiful. Let me go ahead and swatch this purple multi-chrome up top here for you guys. Look at this awesome dude. Definitely goes between like a purple, a green, and magenta, and some yellowish tones. So you can kind of see a little bit of that purple to green. There's the magenta, kind of cranberry shade, strong back into the purple, and then just ever so slight, like there's this like greenish gold kind of hint that you can sort of see around my knuckles as it's trying to like figure itself out. Almost a hint of blue in there as well as I was like twisting it to here. Very beautiful shade. I mean, just absolutely stunning. And the whole palette is like that. You have a really nice iridescent kind of multi-chrome shade, and just the matte shades were so nice and pigmented, and I absolutely loved this color story. Just looking at it, like I was already able to imagine like 5 or 6 different looks, and that's what I love. Even in a 9-pan palette, it is that versatile that you can just immediately see things going together. Those are my favorite types of palettes, and so this definitely was on my list for my top 10, and I am super excited for some of the releases that they have coming out for this next year. In number 9, this might be a shocker to some of you given my recent Nomad ranking, but number 9 is going to be the absolutely beautiful Hudson Valley palette from Nomad Cosmetics. It was definitely one of my absolute favorites. Came in number 2 on my Nomad ranking video that I had done, and just so gorgeous. This is the color story. It is the perfect fall palette, but you can also easily make it into a spring or whenever in the year. You have beautiful cool tone neutrals, warm toned colors, and then 3 shimmers in the middle, and they are just so gorgeous. I love the pigments that you get from Nomad. They are so nice and blendable. And to me, this color story is just absolutely gorgeous. And so none of these palettes are gonna have anything negative coming your way. It's just really more so a matter of like the color story more than anything else. Like, which one was my favorite? Because I absolutely love all of these palettes. In number 8, we have Jolie Beauty. This is the Ethereality. I'm really bad with that particular word. There are certain English words where I just can't quite catch it, and that's how I'm like, that's how you know that English is not the only language I speak. So this is the color story on the inside here. I mean, absolutely gorgeous. I mean, we know I'm a sucker for just really nice greens and blues and purples, which is pretty much almost the entirety of this whole palette. You got a couple of really nice pinks on here, and there are 3 pressed glitters in here, but then you also have these absolutely gorgeous multi-chromes. You've got Fairy Dust and Even Star that are in there. We're gonna go ahead and swatch. Which one do I want to swatch? Let's go with Fairy Dust. Oh, so soft. I love it. It's so nice. This one is absolutely gorgeous. Has a really nice light base, and so you could use it as a topper shade as well as on its own that you build it up, and it just has all of the colors of the rainbow. You can kind of see a little bit of like a lilac pink there on the base, then it goes into yellows, into blues, into greens. I mean, just so gorgeous. There's your purple. I mean, ooh. A little bit more of the blues. I love it. It is so, so nice. And I have to say, like, for the number of shades that you are getting in these palettes, the quality of them, Jolie Beauty is really reasonably priced. It's an indie brand out of the UK, and I absolutely love them. Their Vampirism palette made it into my top 10 last year, and this year, this one absolutely. And it was a very, very close tie between this one and their Zombie palette. This particular color story spoke to me a little bit more, but the Zombie palette is also absolutely awesome. Has all of these neon shades in there, and they're all like black light reflective, and oh, it is so, so stunning. I will definitely have a video coming for you guys on that palette so you can see just how awesome it is. I've got a black light and everything. We're gonna swatch all of it, see how it looks, but I am ready for some neons. I don't know if you can tell, like, I have really been enjoying doing like neutral looks with just a pop of like neon, and so I've been running through the gamut of shades with yellows, greens, purples, pinks, oranges. Like, we're just going nuts, but I really am enjoying that pop of neon. And so the Zombie palette is, I cannot wait to go through that one with you guys. All right, then our number 7 palette is from Menagerie Cosmetics. This is the Indigo Ink palette. I also did a recent ranking and swatching of all of my Menagerie palettes, and the Indigo Ink one is definitely my favorite. These shades are just so, so gorgeous. I'm not gonna worry about swatching any of them in here because I literally just did a swatching video on that, but I'll make sure I link it up top for you guys so you can check it out as well. But Menagerie definitely has one of my favorite formulas for both their metallics as well as their matte shades. So, so pigmented, but really easy to blend. They layer beautifully. So if you have not checked out Menagerie, I highly recommend. And if you're not wanting to pick up a whole palette, they do also have singles, which is really, really awesome. Then in number 6, we have the Strange and Unusual palette from Bella Beauty Bar, and I had recently done a video on this one for you guys, and it really was just such a stunner for me. It is absolutely gorgeous. The camera does not do it justice. This is the most fiery shade of multi-chrome, and it just, the camera does not do it justice, but we will go ahead and swatch it just in an attempt to see if we can make it show up and pop the way that it should. But that is the Witch Doctor shade, and it goes between like a yellowish into orange, into coppery, into fiery red, and there you can see the yellow into that coppery orange, and then it has that really nice cranberry base. Just absolutely gorgeous, and it is in like real world, like the camera's not showing just how bright that shade is, but it is like my hand is on fire. It is such a bright shade. I mean, ooh, I absolutely love it. And all of the shimmers are like that. They are all so, so nice. And I had done a look with the very, very bright neon shade in here, and equally as bright, and it is difficult to get a matte shade to be that pigmented. And so the fact that they have a matte neon that is the green and yellow, those are two of the hardest shades for neons to really get to pop, and it absolutely did. I will say I had to use my finger for the majority of these to really get the pigments to pop, which is the main reason why it's not higher on my list. But once you use your finger and you just dip in and go crazy, oh, it is so gorgeous. I absolutely love it. Then we're going to talk about a palette for number 5 that is one that I have not talked about yet, but I have a video coming for you guys that is going to be a comparison, and this is the Minka palette from Adept Cosmetics, and it is all these absolutely gorgeous foil shades. Oh my god, they are so, so stunning. And then you have 2 matte shades on the side here that are a little bit more plummy to purple leaning. But I mean, just absolutely all of these shades are the most gorgeous metallics. Some of them are more multi-chrome metallics, others are more foiled. I mean, just absolutely stunning. So the top row is all of your foils, the bottom row is all of your more shifty shades. but they are just, oh my god, they're so, so gorgeous. And so the comparison I'm going to be doing is there have been a bunch of palettes that have come out recently that are more of your like foils and very strong neutral metallics. And so I am doing a comparison video for you guys of a bunch of different palettes that I have that are similar with how they've been put together for that kind of color story leaning. And we will see what the different formulas look like, which ones are the best. And so that will be coming your guys' way very soon, and I'm very excited about that. Let's go ahead and swatch the Minka shade. Oh, it's so nice. Oh my god, it's literally like liquid. It is. Oh my god. How? Look at that. I mean, jeez. Absolutely insanity. Just how did, I mean, that's one swipe. One swipe. That's all. I mean, it's like a mirror looking back at you. You can practically see my reflection in there. Oh my god, it's so good. Oh, and all of the shades are that stunning. The only reason why this isn't my number one is because I wanted more color, but like, I mean, as far as like the quality of the foils and everything, absolutely the best. And so the only reason why I'm doing the comparison is so you guys can see different price points, because in case the Minka one is too expensive, whatever you would like, we're covering the gamut of price ranges. And so also, hopefully that will help you guys maybe to not spend too much on like a luxury brand, because there are a couple luxury brands included in there that think they know how to do foils and they don't. But we already know my thoughts on luxury brands for the most part. And so I will always be able to find you an indie brand that is better than any luxury brand out there. So I challenge you guys in the comments. Toss something out there as far as eyeshadows go, and I will get you a better quality comparison on the indie side. All right, my number 4 palette. This palette was actually not released in 2022. It was released as a Black Friday release in 2021, but I didn't try it until the start of 2022, and that is why this makes it into my list, and that is P. Louise Watch the Queen Conquer. This palette is by far one of my favorite palettes. I mean, it is so awesome. I love the P. Louise formula. It's so nice, and the whole concept around this palette, I know it is very massive and bulky, and some of my recent P. Louise palettes that I have picked up have also been equally as massive and bulky, if not more so, but there's just something about this brand that brings me so much joy. And even if the stuff is bulky, I don't care, because I literally feel like I am back to being like a 12-year-old girl, and this is my dream of like the kind of makeup that I would have wanted to have when I was growing up. And so I couldn't get it then, but I can get it now. And so it makes me so happy to open anything from P. Louise, because the packaging is always so fun, so amazing. And I absolutely love it. And the quality of the eyeshadows is absolutely outstanding. So for this one, it was all chess themed. And so you have an actual chessboard with holographic hearts on the black spaces. And it is so cool. You can legitimately play chess on here, and I thought that was such a cool concept. And it is dual-sided, so you have eyeshadows on both sides. So the one side is all of your like pinks, purples, coral shades. Very, very beautiful. Has a nice mix of metallic to matte shades. And then the other side is your oranges, yellows, and kind of mustardy green shades. I mean, this is my favorite side out of the two, but I absolutely love both sides together. I know one of the looks that I had created was this absolutely gorgeous sunset look, and it is such a nice palette for that. And I really liked that they had a good mix of matte to shimmer shades, because that is one of the things that I noticed with a couple other palettes that I have from P. Louise, is that oftentimes they're primarily, if not completely, matte shades. And so I liked that this one had a really nice mix of matte to shimmer. And so we will go ahead and swatch. Which one do we want? What are we missing on here for colors? Ooh, we could do a very nice Barbie pink. So this is the shade Strategy, and it is a very nice Barbie pink. Look at that. One swipe, immediately opaque, and the metallics are so soft, which makes them really, really nice and blendable. And because they're more of a soft kind of wet texture, that also helps with fallout, so that you're not having like a ton of glitter ending up underneath your eyes or sparkle or anything like that. And so that's one of the things that I also really like about the P. Louise shades, is that there's minimal cleanup that you have to worry about in comparison to a bunch of other companies where even though the shades are absolutely gorgeous, you definitely have a little bit more fallout and cleanup that you have to worry about. All right, and we are down to the final 3, and I feel like already it's just been like unexpected all over the place because there are palettes on here that I haven't even talked about with you guys yet, but I have been like secretly just already using, and so you're just like, you haven't even shown me that, and it's in your top 10. What's up with that? Now, don't worry, we have videos coming. My entire thing of wanting to do my Christmas videos for you guys, the 12 days of Christmas, I am so sorry that that did not work out the way that I had hoped. The mouth surgery really took me out way more than I was expecting it to, and so much of the last couple weeks has just been me like laying in bed and being like, me mouth. I don't know if any of you guys are that way, but like I can handle the majority of pain. Like, I've torn muscles, I've had all kinds of things happen, and it didn't bother me at all. Like, immediately next day back in the gym. You do anything to my mouth though, I am out for weeks. Like, I am the biggest baby, and I still have 3 more surgeries to go because we have to do my whole mouth, and we only did the lower left. So it's gonna be fun for the next couple months. But here we go. So the number 3 palette is from Cosmic Brushes. It's the Serenity palette. This was so hyped up earlier this year, and it is one of the few palettes that is deserving of that hype. This palette is so gorgeous. I absolutely love it. It's so grungy, yet also like has beautiful pastels in there and beautiful deeper tones, but they are just so gorgeous together, and I absolutely love the looks that I was able to create with this. I mean, oh, and again, with the pops of neon on there, it is so hard to make them really nice and pigmented, and they did that. And so this palette is so nice. But let's go ahead and swatch the grungy green shade Wanderer, because it is super pigmented. Here we go. Look at that. It is so gorgeous, easily buildable, and I mean, it goes like a little bit between like a goldish into an olivey green, and just the amount of shine that you get with that, even with it being so grungy, is really nice. And so I absolutely love that shade, and it has just enough of like an undertone of navy blue that it works really well, even with like some of the purple shades and some of the other shades in the palette where you wouldn't normally think that like an olivey green tone would work with that. It totally does. And so for me, I think it was a lot of like the undertones and the color theory within this palette that really stood out to me, that I absolutely love. And so I cannot recommend this palette enough. I know they've done several restocks. I would just keep grabbing it if you can, because it is so worth it. Now we are on to number 2, and this is also a palette that I have not talked about yet on my channel. It's coming though, because I've got 2 palettes from this brand, and oh, was it close with me trying to figure out which one to include. I almost was like, let's just drop the bottom one off of the list and let's just do 2 from this brand. It is Clarity Cosmetics, and I chose the Apocalypse palette, but I will tell you guys, the Lily palette, close second. I mean, I don't like to have multiple palettes from one brand because I like to talk about many brands, and so that's why I just did 1 from each brand. But the Lily palette is right there with this guy. But I ended up choosing this one, and I will explain why in a second. But let's first look at the packaging. They design all of their packaging in-house, and it is so gorgeous every single time. I absolutely love this. So spooky for Halloween. And then when you open it up, these colors, this camera will never, I mean, I love you camera, but like, you'll never be able to do this color story justice. But it is the most gorgeous color story. I love how the matte shades are more cool toned, grungy tones. And I mean, some of them in the camera, again, they look very similar, but you have like a pastel grungy blue, a gray shade, and then more of a teal to green leaning shade, this absolutely gorgeous burnt orange shade, and then a really nice kind of mauvey pink shade. And the main reason why this one won out the Lily, because I think the Lily for me, color story wise, like it's right there. Like that color story to me is just so gorgeous. We're gonna look at both of the palettes in a separate video all on their own. But the main reason why this one beat out the Lily palette is that it has a couple extra multi-chrome shimmers. Where, I mean, the Lily palette also has multi-chromes, but all of the shimmers in this one are multi-chromes. So that is 5 multi-chromes that you were getting in this palette. And I want to say that the Lily palette had 2 normal shimmers and then 3 multi-chromes. And so that was the primary difference, was that this one just had a couple extra specialty shades. And I don't even know which one to swatch. Like, they are all so freaking gorgeous. I mean, this is where we're going to find out that they are a step above, because let's see here. Which one do we want to do? We're gonna do, okay, I feel like we're gonna swatch a couple, so just sit down. We're gonna swatch 2, but I'm gonna save the rest of the swatches for the other video. So we're gonna go, we're gonna do Go Big or Gourd Home. I love these shade names. It's such, oh my god, it's a foil multi-chrome. Look at this bad boy. I may have gone in a little hard, which is why it's flaking absolutely everywhere. But look at this guy. Flaming orange to red. Very similar to this guy, just that it is a foil version. And oh, so gorgeous. That deep cranberry red into the orange, into the yellow. I mean, look at that fire. It is like lava on my arm. Literal lava. I mean, look at the reflect on there. This shade is just, oh, it's so good. But we're also gonna do I Choose You, which is also an absolutely gorgeous multi-chrome. Okay, here we go. Oh, look at it. It's so pretty. So this one, just also very similar to this guy up top here. You can definitely see just a little more magenta leaning rather than purple as the start. But then it goes into this like really bright red, and then greens and yellows. There you can see the greenish orange into that purple. I mean, just all of the shades, but you can really see just how versatile these different multi-chromes are in the palette. And the fact that you get 5, so worth it. I mean, just absolutely gorgeous. And so I really, really love this palette, but we're gonna swatch all of them as well as everything from the Lily palette in my upcoming Clarity video. So just stick around for that. It will be around in the next couple weeks, but we will definitely be taking a look at that so you guys can see everything. And then the final one I have also not talked about, but the top palette is from Odins Eye. This is the Christmas Eve palette. I do have a video coming with both Christmas Day and Christmas Eve for you guys, so you can check out everything from that one. I know that it was a limited edition one, and so I know that we can't really get it anymore. So let me know if you guys still want to see a video with me just making some eye looks with them, or if you would rather just have it kind of in a speed reviews where I talk about the formula and then just swatch a couple shades. I'm good either way because I absolutely love this palette. It is my #1 for this year. The color story is absolutely gorgeous. It's just, I mean, I don't know if we can sense a trend here, but I really love my grunges, especially grunge greens and like your deeper navies. And this one was just absolutely gorgeous, and I love the packaging on top of it. Odins Eye definitely has one of my favorite formulas when it comes to mattes and shimmers, and so this palette for me was just absolutely gorgeous. The Christmas Day palette is also very, very nice, but it is less of the colors that I tend to lean toward. I don't use like reddish shades as much, and that one had a lot more of like your reddish and then neutral tones. And so this guy for me was definitely the one that was just the step above. And it also has some specialty shades in here. Let's go ahead and we're gonna swatch the gorgeous shade because it looks purple to you. Nay, nay, as Bailey Sarian would say. It is many shades. So here we go. And you can see very creamy consistency on this one. Has like a bit of more like lilac-y base to it. And so that's kind of what you guys are seeing is lilac to pink. Now, there's your blue to green with a little bit of gold in there as well. And then back out into that purplish pink. And so because of the creamy nature of it, those shifts really, really show up nice. It is so soft and easy to blend. And so that's a big part of why I love the shimmers from Odins Eye. They're also coming out with a whole bunch of single shimmers that you guys can get, and many of them are absolutely beautiful multi-chromes. The only thing that I did notice with that though that was a little bit interesting to me was that the particular way in which they are pressed, that pattern, I have seen before from a different brand. And many of the shades look identical to that other brand. And so I'm a bit hesitant to pick any of them up just because I don't know if they are just that they were purchased from the same lab, because as far as I know, Odins Eye has their own stuff in Sweden and this other brand is a UK brand. So I thought that was a little bit interesting that they looked exactly the same, like the pattern and everything. So I would kind of love to know what you guys think about that. But I might still end up picking up a couple of the shades, but I'm a little on the fence, but we'll see. But this was my top 10. I would love to know what you guys think. What did you think of all of the swatches? Aren't they? I mean, this silver shade, Adept. Ooh, I love it. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, all of it is absolutely gorgeous. And so I would love to know what you guys think of my rankings. What did you think of the palettes? Are we excited for that clarity video? I know I'm excited. Whether you guys really care to see it or not, I'm gonna make it just because I want to play with those palettes more because they are so gorgeous. And so we're gonna be doing 2 eye looks in that video. But let me know what you guys thought of everything. Were there any palettes that you were surprised were not in my top 10? Let me know in the comments down below. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you did not, as we always do here. And if you made it to the end of the video and you have not yet subscribed, I would love it if you would subscribe. Come join my family here. We are getting super close to 1,300 subscribers, and when that happens, we're 10 away, but when that happens, I have a pretty awesome giveaway for you guys, just as a huge thank you for all of the support over the last couple years that you guys have given me. And so make sure you stick around for that. But that is the end of the video, and you guys just go have a good one. And again, Happy New Year.